Hey guys, my name is Nexus, back with a tiny intermission here in Eldritch. Happy Halloween! So we're going to explore the Halloween level, special, been here most of the week. But yeah, so we immediately notice that it is rather dark in here. There's a lot of Shoggoths, and the cultists have pumpkin heads. So, yes, this is the Halloween level. It is definitely Halloween-y, I suppose. Could do with a little bit more atmosphere, I suppose. Anyway, the whole point of this level is to essentially let you just go through and collect a whole bunch of artifacts, however many you want, without having to worry about anything else, or messing up the story or anything like that. You can just click resurrect and restart the whole thing, and off you go, ready to collect some more. So, one of the coolest things of this are the little jack-o'-lanterns, which contain, much like the bases, artifacts, bullets, random things here and there. So basically this level is Shoggoths and cultists, and that's about it. So, little bit disappointing of a thing, for Halloween. It's just not a big update, it's just kind of a thing. So, kind of with that in mind, I thought I'd talk a little bit about, how easy it is to do something like this. Because the random level generator essentially has already been created, like, basically when the game was first made, he made a level generator. So, to make something like this, all you have to do is set a preset that says, here's what texture the ground uses. This is the only block that exists. They're all black, completely. So that's already set in the level generator, so he doesn't really have to do much to do that. And, the fog, it's present and it's that color, and that's not that hard to set. The enemies are just replacements. They're pretty much exactly the same as all the other Shoggoths and cultists. All the cultists in the game right now have the pumpkin helmets, so that's just kind of normal. So in terms of anything else, it's just setting what, items can spawn and things like that, so it's really, really easy to actually make something like this. Which kind of sounds a little bit complainy, I guess. I realize that it can sound like it's entitlement, but, everybody wants to talk about how gamers are entitled, and, I didn't expect a Halloween level, and I didn't really need one, but what we got given was virtually nothing, I suppose. It doesn't really address any of the issues with the game itself. It doesn't, fix any of the problems that the game has. So, right now it's up on Steam's Halloween sale for $2. So if you're going to be getting this game, if it looks like a, a $2 game for you, because different people have, different valuations of currency. If this looks like a $2 game for you, by all means, go ahead and grab it. It's fun for about 10 hours, and then it just kind of sinks into the oblivion abyss that is my Steam library. So, yeah, you can exit from here, and you can go ahead, and you can go over here, and you can deposit, all your stuff that you got. You can't save any of the items. It used to be the case where you could drop them on the ground, and I could have sworn that they'd stay there if you died, and you could just hop back out and pick them up. But I think what you might have to do now is you have to drop them and then complete the storyline, and then you can still have them. I'm not actually sure of that, so don't quote me on that. But I do distinctly remember being able to drop stuff in here, die in a book, and then come back out and it would still be here. And that's not the case anymore. So that's kind of unfortunate. So I'm sure some people want to hear about the actual problems of this game, because I really didn't talk about it in the campaign too much, but basically the lack of variety, it's not a lack of content, because the campaigns are fine, as a thing. They're just levels. And because of what this game builds itself as, an action game with roguelike and immersive sim elements, if you start really looking in depth into it, you start to notice that there's a lot of things that it doesn't have that it probably should that would make it a lot better of a game. And some of those things have to do with the immersive sims, and some of those have to do with the roguelike elements. In terms of the immersive sims, I've honestly only found that the sound engine is about the most immersive thing in this game. And, you know, if you want to compare it to another immersive sim like Thief, it really doesn't. It doesn't have enough depth in the gameplay. There's not a whole lot you can do. You go through and you pick up one ranged weapon, you know, one up-close weapon, one set trap weapon, there's one explosion weapon. Like, that's not bad either, just it doesn't make sense from either of those perspectives. It's fine for an action game, but at the same time it's kind of lackluster, I guess would be the way to put it. And then when you talk about a roguelike, you know, roguelike elements, it's really not even close, because roguelikes tend to have, like, a ridiculous amount of items because they want you to not have to, you know, not have the same playstyle every time. So, then we go into immersive sims, and it's kind of like, well, I can only do certain things in this. There's basically one style of play in this game, and I think it's because, you know, the dev had an idea of what they wanted, and I don't know, it's hard to explain. I think it's just that it lacks some kind of direction. Like, because right now as it stands, it's not a very good action game, it's not a very good roguelike, and it's not a very good immersive sim. So it's kind of, you know, none of the above that it's doing well. Because I honestly wouldn't call this an action game. The fact that I can run around and just, it takes them a second to realize that you're there makes it not an action game. And part of that is because of the stealth mechanics. But, yeah, it's just not, it's not any of the things that it seems like he wants it to be. And, I don't know, something like this kind of doesn't really make me hope for the future of the game. And it's kind of sad because it's only a year old and it seemed like a good idea. Something Lovecraft always seems like a good idea to me. But I really do think a Lovecraft immersive sim would be really interesting. Provided it's actually done with these things in mind and not, because it really does seem like every Lovecraft mythos-based game always seems to have these action elements that don't make sense. Because anyone who's read Lovecraft will realize that the message of his stories is kind of more along the lines of, you're insignificant, there's nothing that you can do that will stop anything from happening. You know, you're human, these are elder gods. These elder gods are so powerful that you can not even comprehend their form. You will literally go mad trying to do so. And it's just kind of weird when I always see, you know, and it's always like an action-based thing, like Call of Cthulhu, actually. I think that's what it was called. Like that too, that was just way too high up in the action and the stealth elements as well, and it's one of those things that I'm really starting to wonder why everyone sort of gravitates to that when they think of Lovecraft, why they go for action and stealth and not, you know, just stealth or something else. Because in this, you know, I'm good at both sneaking and killing. So, well, let me put it this way, I'm not exactly great at sneaking in this, because there's one way in which you are seen. Either you're seen or you're not seen. Like, those are the two things. You don't have, like, you have partially seen, but it's kind of just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. See, they went from partially seen to completely seen, but, like, what I'm trying to explain is a little bit too complicated for me to actually, like, illustrate, I guess. Like, I can hide over here and maybe he'll go away, and that's good, but I can also one-shot him because he's still not alert yet. Or, because he's still I'm still stealth, technically, is what I'm saying. And it's not the best kind of system. So, I don't know. But anyway, there are a few problems with this game to keep in mind. If you are looking into buying it, it's not a bad game, it just has some issues here and there. It's not, it doesn't feel fully fleshed out. It doesn't really feel like a full game either, I think is the other thing. It doesn't feel like everything has been finished. It just kind of feels like something's missing, and I can't really figure out precisely what that is. I think it has something to do with the direction the game goes in. Because this one, once you finish the story, you have literally no reason to do anything else unless you're just maxing out this chest. So, I don't know. I just think it's kind of one of those things where I don't know how to fully explain what's wrong with it, but if it's good for 10 hours. So, definitely I would say probably worth $2. So yeah, that was the Halloween level. That's literally it. It's just one 3-level thing. It doesn't tie into the story at all, and it's supposedly going to be disappearing probably by November 15th. He said a few weeks after Halloween, so keep that in mind. So, look forward to more videos from Eldritch in the near future. Gonna finish out that campaign. I'll probably intersperse more Thief and Ghostmaster alternately. I kind of let up on the Ghostmaster for a bit because I realized that this was kind of a better short Halloween game rather than the whole drawn out thing, but you know, since I started it already, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it. So yeah, that's it. I will see you guys next time.